Welcome to Module 1 of our Google Ads Bootcamp. My name is Aaron Young and I'm your 15,000 hour Google Ads Master, and I'm so excited to be taking you on your journey of learning how you can use Google Ads to build your business. I make no apologies that I'm a big Google Ads fan, and the reason for this is that I've seen Google Ads build my own businesses and also build businesses of my clients so that they can achieve the dreams that they're wanting for their business. So in this course, I want to share with you all of my knowledge, all of the skills and the lessons that I've learned over the past 12 years of me managing and building Google Ads campaigns. So let's get straight into it. Module 1, Google Ads Search Bootcamp. We're starting at ground zero and we're going to be talking about what is Google Ads. To put it simply, Google Ads is paid advertising where you can pay to have your ads for your product or service appear when someone completes a Google search on their computer, phone, or tablet. Always remember that Google Ads is advertising in its simplest form, where you can pay to have your product or your service show in a Google search when someone searches for that product or service. So for example, if you're a swim school who specializes in swimming lessons for kids, you can have your ads targeted to appear only when people search for that specific term, swimming lessons for kids. And then moving on from that, the next step is that Google Ads is actually pay per click advertising, or what we would say is PPC, in that it's very specific and you only pay when a user actually clicks on your ad after searching your Google targeted search term. So the key difference is with Google Ads and other forms of advertising like TV or radio or magazine, is that you actually only pay when someone clicks on your ad. So going back to our example of swimming lessons for kids, is that your ad will only show when someone searches for that term, swimming lessons for kids, but then taking it a step further, because it's pay per click, you actually only pay when someone not only sees your ad, but they also click on your ad. At the start of this course, I do want to remove any confusion on what we're speaking about and what I'm teaching you about in this course, which is Google Ads search advertising. So in this course, we're not talking about advertising on YouTube or Google image-based advertising. You may have heard of display ads, which is, when you see an image ads, which then point you back to websites. We're only talking about Google search ads. And I do want to just quickly clarify the difference between search ads and also Google organic search, because they are actually two very distinct things that we are talking about. Google Ads appear at the top of the page, and it's important to note that they actually appear above any organic or unpaid search listings. So let's have a look. So if you were to search Google Ads, you can see here in the green box is that this is actually an ad, and it actually appears above the organic listing for the Google Ads site. So it's really important that this whole course, what we're talking about is that top section, the section in green, is that is Google search ads. So the next question we want to cover is, how does Google decide which ad to show? Now you may have heard things or people talk about the Google algorithm, and in this course I'm not going to go into depth of the explanation of what this is, but I will explain the best practices so that you can be assured that your ads will always show for the best price possible. So Google Ads is based on an auction, which is focused on keywords. So when you search for a keyword, you will see a selection of ads from businesses who are bidding on the same keywords. So for example, using our example of the swimming lessons for kids, you could have up to 10 different businesses who are all trying to bid on that same search term, swimming lessons for kids. So how does Google decide who wins the auction? And the good news is that in Google Ads, the highest bid, or the person who's willing to pay the most money, does not always win. This is because Google uses a formula to calculate the winner, or which ad will be shown in position 1. So when we think about a traditional auction for like a piece of land or a house or real estate auction, the process is very simple. It's whoever is willing to pay the highest amount or who's willing to pay the most money, they win that auction. The good news is as I said, is this is not what happens in Google Ads. And in Google Ads, they go through a process which is they do take into account how much you are willing to pay, which is your max cost per click. They also then do look at what they call your quality score. And then from the quality score, they give you what's called your ad rank. So as a brief explanation, I think you understand what the CPC is. That's just, as we said, who's willing to pay the most amount of money. But the quality score talks to relevance. It talks to how well does your ad copy and your website match the searcher's intent, what they're actually searching for. And the reason that Google uses this formula is because their goal is to match highly relevant ads and websites to the user's search query. So if a company is willing to pay more for a click, but they only offer swimming lessons for adults, your ads are more likely to appear as your ads and website about swimming lessons for kids are more relevant. The most important thing in a Google Ads auction is your ad rank. Apart from your bids or the amount that you're willing to pay, other factors that affect your ad rank are the relevance of your ad to the search query, the relevance of your ad to your landing page. So with these 2 points, what it's talking about, what Google is looking for, is they want to make sure that when someone searches, using our example, swimming lessons for kids, they want to rank the best ad which has the ad copy which talks about swimming lessons for kids. But then they also take it a step further, and they're actually looking at is the website that we're actually sending them to, is that relevant to the original search query, swimming lessons for kids? And then the third factor that Google also looks at is the historical click-through rate of your ads. And what they're looking at here is that how often are your ads clicked on? Out of every 100 times that your ads are shown, are they clicked on once, or are they clicked on twice, or are they clicked on 20 times? And the reason why this is important, why does Google actually care how often your ads are clicked on, and why does Google care about the relevance of your ad, is we need to take into account is that Google is in this for money. Google Ads is the way that Google makes a profit, and there's nothing wrong with this. But that's why we need to remember that Google's ultimate goal is this is how they make money. So we need to make sure that our ads and our campaigns are structured in such a way so that Google has a financial benefit of putting your ads above your competitors' ads. So let's just say, we're going to switch it up here. Let's just say that you're willing to pay $2 for an ad targeting women's summer dresses. And your ads have a click-through ratio of 12%. Meaning that out of every 100 searches, your ad gets clicked on 12 times out of 100. But you might have a competitor who's willing to pay $5, so more than double for what you're willing to pay for women's summer dresses, but they only have a click-through ratio of 3%. So their ads only get clicked on 3 out of every 100 times. Who would the winner be? Would it be you or your competitor? Now let's remember that Google is in the business of making money, and Google Ads is their main form of revenue. The good news is that even though you're only willing to pay $2 and your competitor is willing to pay $5, you would win the auction. And the reason for this is that Google would prefer a 12% chance of $2 rather than only having a 3% chance of $5. So let's do the maths on that and why Google has a better financial incentive of making sure that your ads appear on top of the searches. Is because if we look at those statistics over every 100 searches, they had a 12% chance of $2 versus a 3% chance of $5. By showing your ad, the ad with the high click-through ratio first, they would earn $24 every 100 searches versus $15 if they showed the ad with only a 3% click-through ratio. So for every 100 searches, Google is $9 better off. We only just scratched the surface of how the Google Ads auction process actually works. But if you just remember that example of Google is $9 better off every hour by focusing on an ad with a higher click-through ratio, That's all you really need to know to build amazing Google Ads campaigns. So I'm happy that I've been able to give you an understanding of how the Google Ads process works so that you can best use this for your campaigns. What I'd like to talk about now, and this is a big subject, it's why I actually love Google Ads. And the first reason is that you can target your ads. But it's not just by keywords that you can target your ads. You can also target your ads by location. So if you only want your ads to show up in a certain country or a certain city or a certain town or even a certain postcode, you can do that. You can also target your ads by languages. You can target your ads by demographics. And this is a big one, especially because you can target it by age or income. If you have a product or a service that is only specific for, say, for example, males over 45, or if it's a high value product and you know it's really going to work for people in the top 30% income brackets, you can target your ads to show to those people. You can also target your ads by the day of the week. If you only want some service providers like mechanics and plumbers, they may only want their phone, their ads to be available when they're working. So you could limit your campaign to only show on Mondays to Fridays or only on Saturday morning. And you can even target it by hour of the day if you want your ads to stop after 6 o'clock at night. And the other thing is you can also even target it specifically by devices. So if your product is only a mobile only product or a desktop only product, you can only target your ads to different devices that people are searching on. Another reason is that you can control your costs. In Google Ads, you actually have the power to set your daily budget so that you can control the maximum that is spent each day and month. There's no minimum buy-in. You can set your ad at $1 if you want. And also too, you can set your budget up to thousands and thousands of dollars. But also remember, you only pay when someone actually clicks on your ad. Another reason of why I love Google Ads is that it's actually very easy to measure your success and calculate your ROI. Because in Google Ads, we can easily track who calls you from a Google ad or who bought your product from a Google Ad search. And because we can track it, it makes it easy to calculate your ROI or your return on investment for every dollar spent. And this was something that was so important to me when I launched my first Google Ads campaign. It was actually for our very own business. And this was a really big feature for me because I wanted to know what return on my ad spend that I was getting. And with Google Ads, it makes it very simple. So if you got $1,000 in revenue from $100 in ad spend, you can very easily calculate that your ROI was 10x. And the good thing about that is because then ad spend becomes relative. If you go, if you want to increase your budget to $5,000 a month, and some people may go, wow, that's a huge amount to spend on advertising. But if you know that for every dollar you spend, you're getting $10 back, so that $5,000 equates to $50,000 in revenue or profit. So then it becomes a very, very easy decision in order to scale your budget. You can also continually review and improve your campaign. Unlike many forms of advertising, in Google, you can actually get live data and results. So you can make instant changes and improvements. When you launch your campaign, you can check within the first couple of hours, the first day, the first 48 hours, and you can see straight away what search terms people are typing in to click on your ads. You can see what age brackets they are. You can see their locations. And then with the conversion data, you can see where you're getting the best actual results and sales from. And you can make those changes straight away and on the run without having to wait for monthly or quarterly reports. And this is one of the biggest things that I love, is that you can generate instant exposure and conversions for your business. Whenever I talk to someone and they're thinking about getting started in Google Ads, I actually ask them this question: does your business need a fire hose or a dripping tap? And we lay the scenario out. If you had to fill up a pool in your backyard, would you prefer to use a fire hose or a dripping tap? Both of them will get the job done. One of them just gets it done a lot faster. Google Ads is that fire hose that can get you instant results. We launched a campaign for a small local business, And I remember that the next morning after we pressed go on the campaign, he rang me up. I remember it was a Tuesday morning after I started the campaign on a Monday. And he goes, I can't believe it. We got 4 phone calls on our first day. That's what Google Ads can do for your business. And that's why it's such a powerful tool. Another thing that I love about Google Ads is that you can target your consumer searches for when they are ready to buy your product or need your service. Another question I like to ask is, when is the best time to sell someone new running shoes? When their old shoes are broken. And this is the great thing with Google Ads, is that when someone needs a certain product, whether it be new running shoes or whether it be it's coming into summer and they need a new swimming outfit, is that the first place that they will generally go these days is to a Google Ads search. So the process is with Google Ads is that a consumer searches for your targeted keywords, your ads can then appear, and they can click on that ad and they're taken directly to your website where you have a chance to close that sale or make an inquiry right in that moment. And that can happen whether it's 4 o'clock in the morning or 11:30 at night. Your shop can always be open, or your service can always be open to new inquiries and new sales. And that's the great thing about Google Ads. So far in this first lesson, we've gone through an overview of the Google Ads auction process and why that's important. And we've also gone through some of the benefits of Google Ads and why I personally am a big Google Ads fan. But before we get into the process of creating your Google Ads campaign and how to write your ad copy and do your keyword research, which I'm sure is what you're all here for, I just want to explain the levels of Google Ads, and then I want to go through some of the glossary of terms that you'll need to understand. And with the slides with the glossary of terms, remember that in this part of the lesson that I've actually given a full download of all of these slides. So please don't feel like you have to take notes because you can download them later. And I wanted to put this glossary in just as a bit of a resource so that when we are getting into more of the practical elements of the course in and around writing ad copy and keywords, and you can't remember some of the things that I'm talking about, you can go back to these slides as a bit of a reference. So in Google Ads, there's actually 3 levels that you need to be aware of. And the first level is your account level. Now, a good way that I explain this is that if you can imagine that your Google Ads account is the same as a department store, like a store in a shopping center, and they sell a whole different variety of clothes. And then when you get down into the next level, which is your campaign level, that's where it actually gets specific. So I'm a dad, and we've got 3 girls. So when we go to the shops and we walk into some different stores, we'll walk into one store, and I'll go to the men's clothes section. My wife will go to the women's clothes section, and my kids will go to the kids section. So the account is equivalent to the total store, and the campaign is like the different sections of that store where it talks about, where it's got the products that are relevant to me. And then when you go into the third level of your Google Ads setup, which is the ad groups, this is where it gets even really more specific, so that the campaign level, you may be talking about men's clothes, but in the ad group level, we're getting into the specific style of men's clothes. So for me, whether I'm need some new shorts, or whether I need a new shirt, whether I need formal clothes, or whether I need some casual. So that's basically the breakdown in the 3 levels. So firstly, you've got your account level. That's everything to do with your business. And I have made those notes there as a bit of a reference of this is, where we set up your billing information and all of your actual practical tax information if you want that in your account. Then the next level is where you actually get down to your campaign. So your sort of your major themes. So for example, as the example I gave, whether it be men's clothes or women's clothes or kids' clothes. And you can actually set budgets at that level. And that's the reason why I wanted to put that, is because some businesses, they'll go, on this type of product line, we want to spend 20% of our total budget on men's clothes and another 20% on women's clothes, and then the remaining 60% on kids' clothes. And then when we go down to the further level with the ad group, that's actually where we have the actual keywords and the actual ads that we're targeting. So once again, I wanted to give you this as a reference, and it'll make a lot more sense when we start actually getting into the practical elements of building your campaign. So before we finish up, let's just start running through some of the glossary of the key terms so that when you go through the course, you know a little bit of a better idea of what we're actually talking about. So let's talk about the language of Google Ads. Now, this is just the top terms you will need to know. This isn't an exhaustive list, but I have put down the main terms that we'll be referencing as we go through this course. Firstly, the campaign. So the campaign is an ad campaign on Google Ads. It's made up of your ad groups. This is where you set your budgets and other major settings such as your location targeting, which cities or which countries are you wanting to target. It also helps you organize your different paid advertising efforts. So you can actually run multiple campaigns at any time from your Google Ads campaign or your Google Ads account, sorry. So, an example like this is you may be running a clothes store and you sell products in different countries. So you could have one campaign that targets United States, and you might have another campaign that targets Australia. And the reason why you do that is you might have slightly different targeting or keyword models, but also as well is that you can actually break down the budgets and you can go, we want to spend our allotted US budget only in these campaigns and our Australian budget in the other campaigns. Your ad group, and then remember that's the level down. An ad group is where you have your set of keywords and ads within that particular campaign. And then the keywords, which is the core of any marketing on Google, and they are the words or word phrases you choose that you would like your ads to target when someone uses a Google search. Your quality score, we touched on this. So this is the metric that's calculated by Google to determine who wins a particular auction. So it's not only based on your budget, as it also takes into account the relevancy of your ad copy and also the landing page, the destination URL. And remember, the great news with Google Ads is that a higher quality score can get you better ad placement at lower costs. Impressions, this is quite simply how many times was your ad seen. And then the next one is clicks, is it how many times your ad was actually clicked on. So slight little difference there. And then we calculate our click-through ratio or our CTR, which is the percentage of how many times your ad was seen versus how many times it was actually clicked on. So if your ad was seen 100 times and it was clicked on 10 times, your click-through ratio would be, I can hear you all shouting, 10%. That's correct. And then your landing page, this is the particular page on your website that you nominate for users to visit when they click on your ad. So that's a great thing, and you'll see this more when we actually get into building your campaign, is that you can nominate and dictate which actual landing page or which part of your website you want different ads to target. Okay, cost per click, you will also hear me refer to this as CPC, and that's the average cost you paid for each click. So if you got 100 clicks from $100 ad spend, you guessed it, you can shout that out again in your own living room or wherever you're listening to this class, is that your CPC would have been $1. Your conversion, now conversion is a desired action that occurs and this could be, for example, if someone fills out an online form or completes a sale on your website. For other people, your campaign may be focused on getting phone calls. So it's how many phone calls were generated for your campaign. So a conversion doesn't actually have to mean a physical sale. Especially if you're in a service-based industry, it could just be an inquiry. And your conversion rate, that's calculated by how many clicks you received divided by the number of conversions. And then your cost per conversion is the average cost, similar to CPC. So the average cost per conversion. So if you spent $100 for 10 conversions, your cost per conversion would be, of course, $10. And then the final one that I wanted to talk through is our search impression share. Now this one's a little bit more complicated, and if you do have any sort of marketing background, consider this as the same as a share of voice. But this is your search impression share is the impressions you've received on the search network divided by the estimated number of impressions you are eligible to receive. So an easy way to explain this is if your impression share was 20%, it means that your ad showed 20 times out of every 100 auctions that you had targeted. Okay, so let's recap lesson 1. Today we spoke about what Google Ads is. So Google Ads, as we said, we gave the overview. It's pay per click or PPC marketing, where you can target specific search terms. And remember, you only pay when someone clicks on your ad. We also spoke about how some of the benefits of Google Ads. You can set your own budgets. It's highly targeted. You can really work out that ROI. And then we also did speak on the auction process, how we really spoke about how relevancy counts and how it's really important to have a relevant keyword targeting and ad copy. And then we also spoke at the end, we spoke about the different levels of Google Ads. We spoke through your account, your campaigns, and your ad groups. And then we went through the quick glossary or the language of Google Ads. I hope you enjoyed this first lesson.